Okay, bye.
Now we're live.
Now we're live.
Now we're live.
Or we're damn sure about to be. It's
Ain't,
always,
ain't nobody on the ain't nobody on. They're all watching football or something.
I don't know if there even is any today. Good morning, Miss Carol.
It's got good morning, Miss Carol. It's gotta be there's gotta be something on today. How will we live?
Well, I don't know. I'm worried about that personally, but I haven't figured it out yet. Hey, Chuck. Good
There's
morning.
Chuck's on.
Chuck's a man with his thumb on the pulse of America. I bet he knows. Or is there any football left for today, Chuck?
There's gotta be. They can't just cut us off like this.
Hey, Tina. Yeah, by God, we made it this morning. I think. Except I still don't see anybody over here. Why is that not? Why am I not?
They can't just cut us off cold turkey on that football thing.
Well, there's still pro ball, so I guess you could count that.
Well, yeah, but that ain't as not much fun.
Mm-mm.
Man, there were some good games on the last few days.
Yeah, there has been, and I missed the one I wanted to see, and then it turned out this sounded kind of disappointing anyway. That was Georgia's game. I wanted to see the Georgia.
They got their royal backsides handed to them by some Yankees from up yonder.
Thank you, Tina. Yes, I was asking people to. I could not get my act together to get some of the things announced like I wanted to get them announced. And so I sent something out to 2 or 3 people.
Good morning, John.
Morning, John.
Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you, Tina.
I hope you caught a fish yesterday.
Yeah, or today, or will today.
Or if you went out this morning and it's earlier back there than it is back here, so or it's later now.
And guys, let me back up about what Tina's talking about. For some reason I've drawn a blank. I got stuck and I couldn't get things sent out. So I sent out a couple of emails to people I knew could maybe do it to let people know I was going to be on. And damn it, I'm still not showing up. Hang on a minute.
Let's see you.
Yeah, but I'm not. My show is not on. Why am I not on? Tina's messaging me. You did get a notification, okay? So Brenda, you can see me. Oh, what a good picture is easy.
Holy crap, that's hot. Whoa.
Ooh, just the way you like it. That's a really good picture.
Man, those eggs are salty, but that's just the way I like them.
There's a really good picture just popped up on my screen of Gigi sitting in Caitlin's lab.
What?
What she's posted it on her STP side or whatever, but it says, see Gigi on my lap. Really good picture, Gigi.
She takes wonderful photos all the time.
I know she posts them.
She's got a
trying to figure out a way to buy one.
She's got a talent for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they're on her site, you can buy them, or you can just beg her for a free one.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that. Every aspiring artist needs a little bit of financial encouragement. It's a tiny bit.
we got a bunch of hay. We got several tons of hay delivered yesterday, and we were out moving panels and building a new panel pen around the hay pile so the horses can't just eat it all in a few days, you know.
Well, just a minute. What the hell's all that beep, beep, beeping about?
Hang on just a minute. God, that's an ugly hand. What happened to that hand? Here's another one just like it.
Both of them, mine are getting that.
Chuck asked how much snow we got. Chuck, we didn't get, oh, 4 or 5 inches. It's hard to tell because the wind blows and it moves it around and it makes 8-foot spots, and then there's nothing, and then another 8-foot spot. But we got some. And as they would say in Wyoming, we can always use the moisture. So,
Okay, I gotta just pause your roll there, buddy. I gotta know, is the YouTube? You're not on YouTube, so you ignore this for a minute, unless your daughter's sitting there. Then I can have her look.
there ain't nobody in this house up but me.
Okay.
That we got a whole
I'm
house.
on now.
We have a whole house full of people, but they're all asleep except me.
Chuck said they got 3 feet. Dang.
Holy buckets.
John said he remembers snow drifts out there.
Yeah, I've got a snowdrift out here on the west side of the property that's probably 12 feet deep now. But it's just an accumulation of snow from storm after storm after storm. It's not
last winter.
From last winter.
Still got some from last winter.
But 3 feet of snow.
So what's your temperature today? That's
hang on, I'll tell you exactly. Hang on.
because I'm going to tell you what it was here this morning when I went out.
It's 23.2 degrees Fahrenheit right now.
Well, this says it's 26 here now.
Holy.
When I got up and went out first, it was 20.
Oh.
And it was nippy. I'm going to tell you, it was a.
When it's Tennessee and it gets that cold, it's cold. It's for real, like seep into your bones cold.
Yeah, especially if it stays there for a few days. Hey, I was digging through. We were looking through something.
You guys are having an actual winter this year.
Well, trying to. It actually spit a little snow yesterday, but other people, I think, around got some. We didn't get any. Anyway, I found these. Brenda found, one of us found these. I can't talk this morning. Postcards. And get that glare off of it.
I see it. It's good.
That's in New Mexico. That's at the Tooth of Time in Cimarron near Philmont.
Right now?
On Philmont, actually. It's a Tooth of Time, which is and that's there's a little crater lake up there. It's not very big. Back in the 1800s, that was where the Continental Tie and Lumber Company started life. What? He's waving.
I'm just waving to people.
Oh, okay.
That's my howdy. Welcome. I'm glad to see you.
And there's a monument there that's at 9,000 feet. And this little jewel, this is Cimarrons or Brenda wrote these. That's right. I know what these are. These were from our trip when we all went out there with you and your mom and dad. And
when we rented a big RV and went wandering about.
Yeah, Brenda bought these. We're gonna send them home to her mom and dad, and she didn't she forgot to mail this one, but that's Mount Baldy, 12,000 something feet. I've been to the top of that.
I can't remember how there was a passel of us in that RV. Some of us, like myself, probably slept out on the ground outside.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of that going on. And this is
they got flurrying going on in New York State.
this is Fort Union.
Oh, I remember chasing a rattlesnake there.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that's right.
Like people came back to the fort freaking out that there was a rattlesnake on the pathway.
Yeah, yeah.
And we went walking out with the gal, and she's like, basically like, I don't need your help. I'm from the Park Service. It was my first negative interaction with the Park Service.
Which was just the beginning.
Which just continued the rest of my career. But
anyway, I just thought I'd share those with you.
Cool.
We did this. We hiked to the top of this when I was out there in 1972. Just brag about my age because I've lived so long now.
back.
And we were there at the end of June.
You were like, then you looked like a wastrel. You looked like a wastrel. You were you were skinny as a rail in those days. We were all skinny as a rail.
Yeah, we were. Man, why didn't we stay that way? We're just like, you know what?
I can still remember walking out of Skeleton Canyon, New Mexico, from where Geronimo surrendered the last time. We hiked down in there with Dad and Philip to look at that. I had humped a turkey guzzler, a water source, and I'd built that guzzler, and I'd carried gazillion pounds of stuff up into there and built that guzzler. And we were walking out of that canyon, and it was thunderstorm was rolling in, a big monsoon, midsummer thunderstorm, and I was moving fast because lightning dancing in the rocks is not a cool thing to see up close. And Dad said something like, "Boy, I was on a lot of forced marches in Vietnam, and I don't need to be on another one." It was great. And I was like, okay, we'll slow down then.
I'm trying to catch up here for a minute. Something's going on in chat, and I totally missed it.
Somebody's hiding under blankets.
Yeah, I think. Well, I thought somebody said that was pups, but I don't know anybody's got pups.
There's hounds involved. I see hounds.
So I'm trying to back up a minute and figure out what, because I didn't really. I don't know if I've even greeted everybody.
I don't see what Diana said about what the conditions were that made the dogs come.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. She says, how are the pups handling it?
Handling what?
Cold weather, I guess.
Oh.
Danny went to the floor door.
It's cold. It's cold in Canada.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sorry that I've been here. And since even Danny went to the door Thursday night.
Diana said it's negative 20 degrees Celsius. No, Fahrenheit. Negative 20 Fahrenheit in Manitoba right now.
Wow. Jiminy. And is that Fahrenheit? That was Fahrenheit, you said?
That was Fahrenheit. And it don't matter.
It don't matter.
At a certain, it's 30 below right now. And
I think 40 below we even out and stay even, actually.
And I've seen the coldest I've ever seen it. We had 2 weeks in a row where the nighttime temperature was like negative 55. We were colder than the North Slope of Alaska. And you walk outside and your body says, get your backside back in that house. I mean, immediately everything freezes on you. You get big blocks of ice in your face if you got a beard.
How cold was that? 50?
55, negative 55. That was the
When
coldest.
was that at your house?
That was at my house in 2016-17 winter. It was the coldest I've ever seen it.
You were living in Opal then.
I was living just 5 miles east of here down the river, and that was the worst I've ever seen it.
And Diana said 40 below is 40 below on, but I thought 40 below is the same CRF. So,
but it's you walk outside, it's like being out in Arizona when it's 120.
yeah,
Your body just says, "This is stupid. You need to be somewhere else." It's just immediate, like, yeah, awful.
So Diana, is that
But if you get below zero, like you get even 10 below, your body just tells you, like, I don't need to be out here.
yeah, that's the coldest I've ever been that I know of. Got down into the negative 20 range, negative Fahrenheit. And that was that big freeze we had in East Tennessee in the early 70s. Probably about 74, maybe winter of 70.
Yeah, when we had that big bad winter that was all over America, basically.
Yeah, and around here,
and
around
Canada
that,
probably was suffering worse.
who?
Canada.
Oh, well, I'm sure they were. I don't know where you would have been then.
So
You
I
were
was
in
living.
Montana.
I was still living in Ohio then, I think, and our heater at the school went out, and we were out. We were out of school for like 2 months in a row because the heater went out to school. And then I moved to Montana and never had to make up any of that school.
Bada boom.
Dad's like, okay, we're leaving here and we're going to Montana. And and all my peeps from the day had to go to school mostly through the summer to make up for that, and I didn't have to make up any of it.
Well, Brenda and I've talked about it before. We had to make up nearly a month's worth of school that year, and we did it on Saturdays. And they instituted longer days, so we put in an hour or two every day extra, and that got counted towards so much per day. And then we had to do a bunch of Saturdays. And I'm going to tell you something, it sucked because you just ain't supposed to go to school on Saturday.
Yeah.
At that point in your life, and it sucked.
But I made it up in college, so
yeah. But
my major professor in grad school, he had way more graduate students than most of the professors there in the wildlife department. They'd be running 4 or 5 grad students, and he'd be running 15 or 20.
Mm.
But he always picked one that was his kid is the one that had to suffer the most, and I was the sufferer. So everything he did extra beyond my grad, what I was supposed to be there for, I was the guy that got to do the extra research and all the extra stuff. And he leaned on you, you know. He was like, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. We wrote papers on chuckers and all kind of things that were beyond my. I got a bunch of publications out of the deal because, but I worked all the time. It was like, holy buckets. So anyway, I'm both honored and dismayed.
Who said that, or who are you talking to? I'm trying to
What's
catch
that?
up with again. Good morning, Kay. Welcome in.
Good morning, Miss Kay.
Oh, so I was getting ready to say something. Oh, I just remember that. I mean, that's the year that I acquired my, or that we did, I guess, because my dad had one too, I think, or I don't know for sure if he did, but anyway, we acquired these. What were at that time fairly state of the art U.S. Air Force jacket, Arctic jackets, and they had the big long front tunnel hood with the
with fur around the edges.
well, yeah, what the hell is it? Wolverine fur, supposedly, around the front. So apparently Wolverine fur doesn't freeze up. At least that's what I was always told.
Yeah.
It doesn't ice up like other fur, so it stays clear. And just so happened that mom and dad's best friends and our neighbors for many, many, many years were my neighbors. And then until we moved off to a couple miles further down the road. But anyway, he was stationed their son was stationed in one of the Arctic warning stations or something. I guess he worked for, I don't know, maybe he did work for NORAD. Anyway, he was in the Air Force and he was up north and he got cold weather gear. So he had a couple of those jackets or parkas. And I think he had a pair of bunny boots, and I always wanted to try those bunny boots.
They're good. They're not comfortable, but
No.
they sure keep your feet warm.
Yeah, that was what I've always heard.
They yeah, it was I don't remember who was in charge of ROTC when you were at Crockett.
Yeah,
our head guy was Captain Paul Tickle, and he had served in World War II, mostly above the Arctic Circle, and on a Navy ship. He was captain of a ship, and he always told us stories about, like, you know, guys would go out on deck, be doing work or whatever, and reach up and grab their ear, scratch their ear, and it'd just break off in their hand.
Yeah.
That's cold.
That's cold.
Yeah.
And he had one of those parkas, pants, muckluck boots, and Arctic gloves. I didn't have the gloves. I'd like to have had them.
And John said it gets nasty at the silos.
Well, yeah, it does.
God dang, that's cold. Like, it can be 25, 30 below zero, and then the wind blow like 10, 20 miles an hour, and you're for real cold then.
I love it. Tank Carol said, Tina, we moved into our house in 1997. We still can't fit a car in the garage. I have had that problem, but right now I'm struggling because the car's out still here. And our car hadn't sat outside the garage in many, many years. So I've got to get our garage cleared out so I can get the car in it. It's driving me crazy. I had to wait this morning. I went out this morning and then I had to wait to get the windshield clear. I wasn't used to that. We hadn't had clean windshields in ages.
I go out and start my wife's car most mornings, and
Gotta
just
do
let
good.
and have the defrost on high, and just like otherwise you can't go anywhere here.
Oh, I'm
You
sure.
They don't make ice scrapers that work in this country. Uh,
Oh, I didn't
Now
look.
you're making me cold, and it's not even cold here. It's 23 degrees.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
We're goddamn balmy, man.
Balmy.
Last week it was like -2, -5, -3, negative whatever.
Hey, Dave, welcome in. Adventures by D has entered the room, folks.
And poor Diana and Mike are suffering through -20s now or more.
Say that again. I missed something there. I was
I
reading.
just said that they're it's cold in Manitoba right now. We're real cold.
Well, I was going to ask Diana. She said it's -30, but is there wind added to that? I mean,
All you got to have is like 5 miles an hour of wind, and it drops at another 10 degrees.
Diana said she, she's picking up on. They
Just
don't make ice scrapers that work in Canada either.
yeah, you can't. Humans aren't strong enough to scrape that ice out.
And anything that scraped the ice out at that point is probably going to crack some windshield too.
I drive through town, and there's like everybody's got their windshield wipers like pulled up and standing out because
So they don't
they
freeze.
freeze to the windscreen, and as they would say in Great Britain. And how's that?
You threw that right in there. I thought that's
Do that right in there, but they freeze to the windshield, and then you can't. They're of no value whatsoever.
you if you pull them, they just rip apart, and then the wipers ruin it.
Yeah, exactly. You need a flamethrower.
I saw a guy. Speaking of that, good God, I saw a guy on, and I think I've seen this on somebody else's, but a little handheld, a friggin' flamethrower that you can hold, that you can carry around in your hand. I'm not sure what a body needs a flamethrower for either. I'm sorry. That's constantly.
So I have to tell a story before
Okay.
I forget about it. My son and I on Christmas Eve ended up pulling out a gazillion little tiny porcupine quills out of my dog's mouth.
Was that Penny?
Penny, yep. And she's still got one in there. She's got a little cyst on the bottom of her chin. And I've been trying to get it out. But anyway, we pulled quills out of her Christmas Eve. And then Sammy, my son, ends up with a great big old lump on his chin, big old swelled up lump on his chin. And he takes his muskrat skin and knife and like lances it himself. And it gets badly infected.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. And the doctor yesterday told him, I mean, they've been like debriding and packing the wound now at
See,
the doc.
those words when mixed together
Are bad,
not
that's
good
bad
words
news.
mixed together.
So the doctor told him yesterday, oh yeah, we found it. It was definitely a porcupine quill
It was in his chin.
that came out of that incident. And then I'm sitting here at my desk 2 days ago, and in my jeans I could feel like I had a sliver or something, but it was sticking up through my blue jeans, and I start pulling on it, and it's a dang porcupine quill
Oh
bite.
my God.
And so Penny was biting us while we were trying to take all those quills out
She
because
was
they were in
trying.
the inside of her mouth. So they don't like them when they're in the inside of their mouth.
No, I can
And I
imagine.
wouldn't either. And so she was like giving us some little love nips while we were trying to pull quills. And, and I just told Sam, I'm like, the dog bites were worse than the porcupine quills we were getting in ourselves from that deal. But I was just watching my Boudreaux Campbell dog chewing on Penny's chin. That's what made me think of that
I
story.
mean, maybe he's trying to get it out for her.
I hope so.
Carol said, porcupine quill's the gift that keeps on giving.
They just keep on.
I've talked to hunters that go up there with their dogs. For like bird hunters, my buddy Steve Cottrell used to go up. He had a couple of, and he used to like take his dogs up there, but he would tell me about that, and then I started seeing Dr. Pole on TV, get those dogs cleaned up, and I thought, how the hell does any dog survive a winter up there, or much less a lifetime with porcupines everywhere? I mean, apparently a dog just can't hardly help but bite it because it must just look so good.
So if you harvest a mountain lion in Wyoming, you got to bring it in and get it checked in.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of lion hunting that goes on here, and every lion has to be checked in through the regional office. And I cannot tell you how many hundreds of lions, they like porcupines. They eat a lot of them. And I can't tell you how many of them had quills in their face. And
I can't imagine.
They seem to handle it pretty well. I had a hound that got into a porcupine, and she had a big old nasty cyst on her face for seemed like a year. We took her to the vet. And then I would operate on her myself, just lance it, and finally we got it to come out of there. But quills are a bad deal. They're waxy, and they
keep getting deeper,
and they just keep moving locations. So yeah. They're.
I know that's what. Again, go back to Dr. Pole, but other vets I've heard talk about it. Their main concern usually is to try to get them all, because hypothetically, at least, you can
they could go in and penetrate the brain.
Yeah. It can work its way all the way up into the brain.
I know I've seen,
but
they always had pit bulls on Dr. Pole, and they lay down in them and roll around in them or whatever. They get them. They get thousands of them in their face, and it's just
I'm sorry, but if there was ever a dog that probably deserved it, that's probably it.
But I mean, it's a pretty violent attack from the pit bull to the porcupine, and the porcupine's like, well, here, have some of these.
And now let's talk, since we've mentioned that fact. We might as well throw this out there, because we can't go past it and not bring it up. and that is the one critter out there that actually likes to eat porcupines and has a special trick to do so.
The fisher.
The fisher. The fisher.
No.
He flips them up on their backside and
eats them.
Eats them from the front where they ain't sticky.
On the underneath side, they flip them over and eat them on the bottom, and they don't have quills on the bottom.
So nature does figure out. I mean,
a way. If you're into like old Indian quill work or something, you can take a porcupine that you find on the road or whatever and flip it over and skin it and not get quills in you, because there's nothing on the bottom side of them.
Just
and
fur, I assume. I've never seen
it's
one.
just hair. It's just
Yeah.
fur. And but this particular porcupine was little. It was probably this year's young,
Yeah.
a juvenile, and the quills were only like, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or an inch long. And I've seen quills this long in them, but this one had quills, this big. And man, were they sharp, and they were hard. The little baby ones, if you find one that's just a little guy,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just soft. They don't really have quills yet.
And well, that makes sense because I wouldn't think Mama would want them to be
No,
fully developed.
you wouldn't want to be giving birth to that. But they only have one young a year, which is weird. They're a rodent that only has one baby. And
It's weird.
but they're we got movement in the wire.
Well, while you're checking out infiltrators, my wife says, "Hey, what's that yellow shirt behind her?" So you're gonna make sure it gets mentioned. This is what my wife got me, or something my wife got me. See anything on there? I mean, there's a magical image there.
I can't see it. I mean, I see.
Well, I can't hold it probably, but there's a bear right here
Oh, cool.
standing in that made into the background. And I don't know, maybe you can see the head on it right here now.
Can you hear that?
I hear that. Did they just get up? Anyway, I like it. I like it. The
Mama
only-
got up and the grandbabies are sleeping, and dogs are running amok, and it's quite the deal right now.
So
That's
anyway,
that's a pretty cool shirt.
says that, and into the forest I go to lose my mind and find my soul. So I like that. But I didn't put it on today because the color kind of washes me out.
It clashes.
So she brought me a shirt. She
So
came
you
out
decided to put on a Hunter orange T-shirt instead.
but this shirt, unlike that shirt, has a couple things that it has a pocket.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I love shirts. I love T-shirts with certain things on them, but nobody ever puts stuff on a T-shirt with a damn pocket. Or at least
Well,
not very often.
Yeah, because that breaks up the design.
I know, and but that's why I don't wear them anymore. I've got a whole closet full of really nice T-shirts that people have given me that I'd like, but
we wore those T-shirts for years that had a pocket on them.
I mean, I've been wearing a pocket T-shirt.
I can't even remember the brand now, but they always had pockets on them.
That's right, and I can't stand not to have them now. So, but it's a nice T-shirt, and so anyway, I like T-shirts with messages, or at least some messages. But that's something else I just found. I was just looking around here, and I found these. Brenda, my wife, got me these. These are bookmarks, or whatever you want to mark with them. But these are leather. They got magnets in the flaps, and it's got a big old P on it right there.
Well, when you're reading your Bible, you can.
You are talking about the Bowyer's Bible, I assume.
It's a pretty cool book. It's got some great battle scenes and things in it. That's a pretty cool book if you look at it that way. John's
Uh,
Lower down part of my. John's got fence coming down.
Gotta go to Lowe's for buy materials. Oh, no fence, no dogs get to go out. That's I get it. You gotta rotted posts. That'll do it every time. Yeah, Carol, I thought they were pretty cool too. They don't damage the page in any way, but the only pitfall to these, I believe, is that because they're the thickness of the leather and the magnets, it does make the book stand open. So it's not something I'd want to leave in there permanently because it would probably warp the back at some point. Brenda says she wants you to know that he has a boat hunter's Bible he got for Christmas. I do. I think it's version 4, but I think I've got the early ones back here on the wall somewhere. I got to dig them out. And I hadn't had one of those in a while, so I really enjoyed that. I hadn't had some good archery books and new things to encourage me to yank a string. Can't hear you, buddy.
Sorry. You need to get the traditional Bowyer's Bible.
Okay, if I don't have that
there's
one,
4 of those.
Well, that might be one I've got actually.
4. That
4.
way.
That may be by whom?
Well, G. Fred and all those guys started it.
Yeah.
And most of the guys that started that series of books or have crossed over to the other side.
Yeah.
But they
hey Mike, I got something for you, buddy.
That's who taught me how to build bows. So
look here, Mike. Drum roll. I'm gonna sneak it in on the
you
side.
got donuts in the house?
Huh?
You got donuts?
Like a meteor or a comet zooming through space, Mike.
A meteor of goodness.
I had McDonald's. It's the only excuse me. The only place you can find a fresh donut in this town, and of all things, they're just Krispy Kremes, which is okay usually, but is at McDonald's because they now sell these for breakfast. They have these little boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts. So I said, I'm going to go down there and get a darn box of donuts. Because, Mike, I just wanted to show you that I'm holding up my end of the donut.
You're actually proving that you're providing.
Exactly.
Donuts to the show.
Exactly. I have my donuts, Mike.
And Mike wants to know if there's enough to go around. Looks to me like there is.
Well, that depends on there's enough. See,
depends on how big the circle is.
Exactly. And I didn't eat them all. See, Mike, I didn't eat all mine. Now the question here is, are there enough to go around? And how many of you already had this morning? Because you may already be past your limit.
God almighty, that's hot. Woo!
On the other hand, I've not even had the first one yet. So there you go. My fortitude and self-strength to not eat those donuts. That's not that. I mean, I'm not that strong. Just to put it bluntly. Okay, so speaking of that, let me move on to something else before I forget it too. Most of you know that I went in for an MRI on my shoulder a week ago Friday. And Tuesday, I talked to the doctor about that. And I'm going to have shoulder surgery on January the 28th, and it's what do you call it, outpatient surgery. So I'll be there. Just go in the morning early, and he'll cut on me, and then he will.
Really?
And then I will be there forever. How long they think I need to hang around to get, I guess, all the pollutants out of my system, and send me home with lots of instructions and my arm in a cast of some sort. Now, what's not
your right arm?
My good one. Yeah. And that's not a good thing. I'm just going to be upfront and honest about that. I could probably go a long time and nobody ever said you ain't going to have your right arm used, but I'll survive because here's what was
They're
really
going to fix it, dude. They're just going to fix it.
Well, I know, but there it depending on what they did. And this is realism, and that's what he originally told me that I might have to look forward to. Is that if they do certain things to your shoulder joint, that they have to strap your arm in and lock it down, and you can't move that sucker for like 6 weeks. I'm talking not move at all. It's fixed in place.
Yeah.
And that's when this hand comes in, mighty handy. And if it don't know its way around things, if you know what I mean, it needs to learn real quick. So I'm not looking forward to retraining, but.
So the left wrist is good?
The left wrist is good. It's still sore and tender. I am rehabbing it now. I'm doing rehab on it.
Well, you're sure moving it more than you have been. So
yeah, I'm moving. I mean, actually, I need to move a little bit because it's a little sore.
Glad to see that. You're going to have to start shooting a bow left-handed like Fred himself.
Well, that's possible.
He wasn't. He was not a right-handed guy.
Who?
Fred himself. Fred Bear. He wasn't a right-handed guy, but he lost this finger in an agricultural accident, and he had to learn how to shoot a bow left-handed. That's the only reason he shot left-handed.
Well, here I'm thinking,
and he had to train his mind to become one with the arrow from the other side,
And that's not as easy as it sounds, because once you have your body tends to naturally have a dominant eye, and that can mess with lots of things when you start swapping hands.
Well, I hope it makes you feel better, buddy.
What he's going to do is he's not going to do the full-blown job on it, obviously, because he's not going to lock it up, but he's going to have to get in there and clean up a little bit of my rotator, probably clip out some rough spots. He said, he said, you forced this out. You didn't. He said a lot of that damage has probably been there for years, and I know it has because I can think back many times when
you can go like this, and it goes crunch, 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 crunch.
Yeah,
crunch, 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 crunch.
And sometimes I say foul language because it hurts, and I'm forced to say things.
So he's gonna fix that all up. You're gonna be like a new man.
You know what he's gonna do to ease most of the pain, though?
Is it gonna be? What do they call that? Is it gonna be kind of a micro deal, or is it?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Or are they just gonna lop your arm off and dig around and poke around?
No, I'd say they're gonna use it'll be scoped.
Yeah, they're not going to just.
That makes the world that.
They're not going to just chop your limb off and like dig around in there with a sharp stick.
But wouldn't that think it's a great scar that would leave, though. Now,
yeah, but you don't.
Now it's going to have 2 little pokey holes in there.
You know how scars are. They don't feel good for the rest of your dang life. So,
you got a point there. So all that's going to happen at the end of the month, and but it doesn't sound bad. I'm probably lucky as hell, to be honest. Well, I'm still pretty sure I'm lucky I didn't kill myself. And I know I've said that
Well,
before.
I'm happy you're still with us.
I kind of am too. When I was laying up
I would still pay a lot of money to watch you rolling down the hill. You can't do that on YouTube. I can.
it was
They're
censored.
gonna block you now, buddy.
I
I
was
pay a lot of
censored.
money to see you rolling away from the Yellow Jackets.
Don't want to scare anything down with that.
Just because I've been there and done that.
That's okay, Mike. You don't even, you know what, Mike? You could have probably just gone without telling me that story. I think.
Yeah, make sure they put a big X over here.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll tie.
No, not on that one. That's the one that needs fixed, right?
Huh?
Which one needs fixed? Yeah, so put a big old X over on the other one that says
Not this one.
Don't cut.
No.
This isn't the one.
This is not it. Look to the other side. Carol says every time Danny goes in for a surgery, they double and triple check which leg and mark it with Sharpies. I bet that doctor in Canada had something to do with it. Might be. Tim's adjusting his glasses to see you better, Mark. I was. Oh, merciful heavens. Now.
Yeah, that sucks. You gotta pull your glasses in and out now.
Yeah.
I always have to do that.
Well, things got real clear all of a sudden, though. I got to pull my show up. That's what I'm looking for. And I think right at the very end of this morning, in the hustle to try to somehow get my act together.
What are we talking about today?
Coffee. I've been trying to talk about coffee. And then next week, I'm expecting to talk about the Vikings of
the ones that came to America.
And the ones that landed in Manitoba. And so for people who think that Vikings couldn't come so far as Minnesota, need to get their head examined. Anyway, Gimli,
Kensington Stone,
among other things. But there's a Diana and Mike, I think, told me about or somehow got me started on this particular option. And it's I'm looking to see if I've still got the web page open. I guess I closed it. I won't pronounce it, Diana. Who said that? Who said what? Mike or Diana, one of you. What's the name? There's a place there. I don't know if it's near Winnipeg, but it's called Gimli. And I may be pronouncing that wrong, but it seems like it's Gimli or something. And they have a big statue of a Viking there. And they have history. So I'm going to research that and try to talk.
Well, Farley Mowat that wrote, what was the wolf book he wrote? I'm not going to think of it now.
Wait a minute, not the guy that ate mice and stuff. That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Never cry
wolf. He wrote that story, but he also wrote two really cool stories that they made into movies: Lost in the Barrens and Lost in the Barrens 2. And 2 was called The Curse of the Viking Grave, and they were fur trappers in northern Manitoba and found in the story they found a Viking grave, and one of the kids, there was a a Cree kid, and a white kid, and the white kid took the spear point and maybe a cross out of the Viking grave when they found it, and they needed to figure out how to get it back because
I've seen that.
bad stuff was happening to them because they had those in their possession.
And so it should.
And I love those movies. I have a copy of the first one on DVD, but I can't find the second one. So,
what were they? Lost in the Barrens? Is that it?
Lost in the Barrens is the first movie, and that's when they actually found the grave at the end of that. But then they went back in the summer. They were lost up in the Barrens in the wintertime, but they went back in the summer and looted the grave basically. And
that never gets you. That don't never make friends in the afterlife.
And the young Anglo kid took the spear point and the cross down to a university, like, hey, research this. And, hoodoos and haints and whatnot were coming after him the whole time. So he had to make it right and put it back. But, they found like a warrior in his armor in a grave, and he had this stuff with him, and they took it, some of it. The Cree kid was like, I don't know, we're not doing that. You shouldn't be messing around with the dead. But anyway,
never pay.
It was a great couple of movies. I loved them. They were really good.
I'll have to look for that. I also got this cool little, the first and only selfie stick I've ever had, and it's a good GoPro thing. And I can't remember why I got this. I bought it obviously for myself, but I got it because there was some kind of special deal or something on it. I do know that. It's a little bit short guy. Don't get any from that. So, and I have to hold my own arm up. What are you talking about?
I'm just wondering what that had to do with what we were talking about.
Nothing. It was purely a shooting star.
But you saw it.
But it was right here in my way, so I picked it up. I picked it up because I was writing down a note about that movie. Do I have a GoPro? Yes, I do, Tina. I have a GoPro, but I obviously have not used it anywhere near its potential.
It's time to go looking for some megalodon teeth with that, buddy.
Yep. I've got everything I need to mount it.
You can film your bride like finding cool fossils.
If she would go for that. Squirrel, Tina, it is indeed a squirrel. I found
the whole show's a squirrel.
I found something else. I found a theme song. I found a theme song for my show. Hang on, let me see if I can pull it up and let you.
Oh my God. Has it got to do with Rocky? No.
I'm trying to think how to find it. Probably don't need it. This is probably not right.
Uh-oh. I hear heavy footfalls in the upstairs region of home.
Yeah, let me take a minute to find this.
It's going to get loud.
Oh, they buried Jimmy Carter today, or was he in the state?
What are you talking about?
Well, Jimmy Carter something popped up there. You know, his funeral is happening. He passed away this week.
Yeah, I know that, but
Well, it popped up on my screen. I'm sorry.
oh, it's not in the feed here.
No, because I'm looking for
That's the first official squirrel of 2025. It is.
phone. I won't be able to find it. Here's all kinds of squirrel songs, but that's not the.
You're going to violate some copyright again, and
I probably will, but I was going
they're
to
going to ban us forever.
That's this guy that sang this new squirrel song I'm talking about. He's this really kind of a strange guy that sings songs out in the middle of the.
Yeah, and we're totally normal.
Yeah. Oh shoot! I won't be able to find it. I'll have it for next week. I forgot to dig that up. This guy sings it. He comes on and does shorts and things on Instagram a lot. And maybe that's why I can't find him here. I think it's Instagram, but anyway, he's usually standing out in the middle of like a ragweed field, or hog weeds, or just some brushy field that looks like.
Oh, I've seen that kid. Is it a kid?
Yeah. I'd say a kid for
Like a very young man, like early 20s maybe.
And he
sings some great songs.
He's got one about Walmart, and he's got one about
drugs. Yeah, that kid.
But he's got one about squirrels, and I want to play it on my show because it's. I thought, man, that's perfect. There's a narcoleptic squirrel song. Well, that's the last thing we need. I'll have to find that guy. So anyway, let me do what I was supposed to be doing here.
The happy 11th day of Christmas.
Wait a minute.
You can see we still have our stuff up.
Oh, well, we do too. Is this the 11th? My mouth's so dry, my tongue's stuck halfway. Is this the 11th or 11th day already? I guess it is. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that 12 days of Christmas thing is actually post-Christmas. I don't think that's the right thing. Hang on.
My beautiful bride has tubs and tubs and tubs and tubs of stuff. 27, I think, that she puts out. And I'm like, oh my God, you're bringing out the tubs. And then when they get put away, it's just depressing. I like having the Christmas lights on, and
yeah, I kind of do too. Even as a kid, I used to hate the day that
they put the stuff up.
Yeah, I don't know. That just, especially when I was a kid, that just meant something really.
It was over.
It was over, yeah. And it was going to be a long time till we got to do it again. Shit, where's that? Where am I at here?
You can't say that on.
Pardon me. I apologize. Okay. Let's see if this is right. Probably won't. I'll bet anything. No, maybe not. Maybe I got it right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm having a hard time today.
I gotta watch the time. I got a great big old ginormous piece of meat I need to get out and rest, or get out and get room temperatured here
Uh,
shortly.
you got a big.
I just need to get it out of the fridge and let it warm up a little bit before I start cooking it.
What's today's big festival?
We got friends coming over, and I'm building a piece of meat I've never cooked before, which is a brisket.
You've never cooked a brisket?
I've never cooked a brisket. I always avoided brisket because it's a tough cut of meat, and
Oh, it is.
but I found out how to maybe make it not tough, so we'll see how it comes out. I got to cook it low and slow for a long time.
Make it right. You did want to do that.
I put a rub on it and put it in the fridge overnight, and now I got to get it out and let her warm up a little before I start cooking it. But
Okay, bear with me, guys. I'm having I thought my mind still must not be completely healed from being sick last week. I can't think right now. So I may have to do this differently just to make it work. And it's not wanting to work. It's flipping on me. For some reason it's coming out on the wrong side it's coming out on the wrong screen again. So I'm going to start saying foul things. Uh-oh, what's Brenda saying? See, when I'm not looking, that's why beneath in the house his language is and it's flowery and colorful, and it just flows like a river. He's been off for a couple of weeks and his language has gotten terrible. Hello, Dave. I watched your review on Dockside in Orlando. Looks like a really nice place. Can't believe you got in for under $100 a night. Well, Brenda, you better cover your ears, and we wouldn't want you to pick up any of that foul language. Too late.
Be here at 5, Mike. Mountain time.
If you cook it with mushroom soup on it, turns out really good. I'm not sure what Brenda's cooking now. Not my language. You don't cook my language with mushroom soup. Oh, I want to know what time it's for dinner. Well, I don't. You know what? I might just say the heck with that and not even do the show today. Just keep it for another week. I can't remember why I can't think. I can't remember how to fix this.
What are you hunting for?
I'm trying to make my screen turn out where I want it so I can make it big and show it.
Oh.
For everybody to see. But I can't seem to make it do that. It wants to keep coming back over here on my. So if anybody's answering my problem online here, and I'm not seeing it, first, I apologize. And two, I'd be glad to take any instructions that you've got. So I know one thing, I'm getting very frustrated with it. How do I put that over there? Come on, Carol, help me out. I know you've done this. I'm trying to eat breakfast, and there's too many squirrels running around. I'll just eat your damn cereal, Tina.
Your Fruity Pebbles.
Oh man, I'd like to have some Fruity Pebbles right now. They review and Chris plan to continue the Universal Resort series when the new hotel opens. Okay.
You can't get your coffee thing to come up, or you can't find that squirrel deal.
No, I'm not even chasing the squirrel thing. I'm trying to get my coffee screen to come up so that I can present it correctly, and it's not wanting to do it.
It's just being aggravated.
Fast backwards for what I need, and I need to figure out what it. I got to remember how I have to change that. There's something I have to do that makes me feel like dancing. Dance when I wait. I don't do it here soon. We're not going to talk about coffee today. We're just going to shoot the shit and then go home. That's what's going to happen.
We're going to talk about the black drink.
Well, I do. I've got that in there too. I didn't forget it. I wrote it down. I even went and I've learned about the black drink. I'm interested now in the black drink. If I'd love to grow, I'd like to try to grow some here. Although that is a pretty much southeastern coastal from Atlantic to Gulf thing mostly. It gets up into some. I'm not sure how far up into Georgia and in the Piedmont area, the Carolinas, some. And,
yeah, I think it was fairly limited in distribution, but
yes, it was.
You had to be in that coastal kind of country, warm, mostly warm part of the world, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana. I mean, I don't know if it went as far west as Louisiana or not, but
Mike, you keep threatening, buddy. I wish you would. Tina says, sorry, I have no idea how to move something from one screen to another. Oatmeal with supplies and cinnamon.
You tell me, Mike, when you're coming, and there'll be some big old large piece of mammal flesh on the fire.
Mammal flesh. Hey, speaking of mammal flesh.
And maybe some chicken embryos. As the Coneheads would have said, chicken embryos and mammal flesh.
Oh God, I forgot what I was going to say again. It made me think of something. Because of what you said, I was going to add to it.
All I said was mammal flesh and chicken embryos.
It was, I don't know what it was. This is how my week's been going. Gonna take a long way to
Singing that song now.
Because it's in my head.
It's stuck in your head.
It's stuck in there going around. Well, I was going to talk about coffee, but if I can't show it to everybody, I feel like I'm wasting my time. I'd like to at least. Oh, okay. Just you guys talk to Mark, make funny faces at him.
You've done this a million times, dude.
No, give me just a minute. I gotta think it through here. What am I not remembering? I don't know why I even did this. It's not. I didn't change it on purpose. That's for sure. So I'm going to mute myself. That way I can curse profusely and nobody will hear me. So, but I'll be back. I'll be right back. I can't even do that. There we go.
Rock'em schmuck'em. Well, my bride just sailed out of Fort Lauderdale not that long ago. Did a Disney cruise with all the grandchildrens. They had a fine time, but they like, no, you probably shouldn't go. There's too many people on one boat. I was not allowed to attend. You'll just get mad at a bunch of people. Huh.
So what kind of report did you get back from that trip?
I don't even know how to respond to any of it. Huh?
You don't know how to respond to what?
Any of the discussion.
Oh, well, I was just saying
what kind of report did I get back from it?
Yeah, on their trip. How'd that go?
There was like 5,000 people on the boat.
Yeah.
And
that's just the boat.
And I wouldn't have been welcomed by the other 5,000 people or had a good time. They went to 2 islands somewhere out there east of Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, Tina's reading lips. You didn't see everything. I hope you didn't see everything.
Tina said she gets grumpy around a lot of people too. I get in crowds and it's like, okay, I'm out. I can barely go to a rodeo.
Yeah, and you like those, so
I love those, but
so if you ain't going to them, just
people like standing around and not like, let's go, people, let's go. We got bucking horses getting loaded in the chutes. Let's go.
Well,
which is why I live next to a town of 63 people.
And that's next to the town of 63 because Dampy's going to live in there with them.
Exactly.
Just thought I'd add that, just in case anybody didn't pick up on that.
Exactly. I can't help it. It's genetics.
Well, guys, I'm just not going to try. I don't know why it's flipped. It's flip screens. I mean, I don't.
Walter is not naughty. He's just misunderstood. So we've had like here in the last couple of weeks, we've had Leigh Renard hanging out at the house quite a few times.
You seen him again?
Just saw him day before yesterday again. He's just hanging out. He's walking around the property like he owns the place.
And that's so strange. I mean, I know it happens. But
Right in the middle of the daytime, I'm seeing him like out,
Yeah.
like in the alfalfa pasture, like out there hunting voles or whatever. And the dogs are all out, and you got a red fox out there like, yeah, I'm just part of the plan. I figured when he came walking up the sidewalk and up onto the back deck that when I let the dogs out, I didn't turn them out to chase him, but he just happened to be there. They needed to go outside. It was emergency. And I figured he'd like, I'm out of here, but he's still hanging about. So he's a beauty too. The girls are all mad at me because I didn't get him out when he was out there running about. But
so they could see him. Was it dark? I thought you told me he was there.
no, when he came up on the porch, it was in the middle of the night. When he was in the field the other day, it was 2:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, I thought I had those times backwards.
I've seen him several times south of the river, and Sammy's seen him over there too.
Have you seen the vixen?
I watched him catch like 4 voles in a row.
Oh, cool.
One and just in a few minutes, like he caught like 4 voles and grabbed them up and throwed them up in the air and then scarfed them down. So we got a lot of voles right now.
I can't help but think of that guy in Never Cry Wolf when he was eating the voles.
Oh yeah, yum. Well, you know that
survived on him.
You know when Sitting Bull went to Canada, when he took his people to Canada after the Little Bighorn,
Yeah.
they got to where they went up there and they were right where a bunch of Crow people were living, and the combined intertribal rivalry, plus they were all they were eating bison, and they basically killed that last little population of bison out up there, and they got down to where it got a bad winter, and then they got to where they were eating deer mice and voles that they literally caught in their lodges. That's kind of what made him come back to the States. But when he went down to the North Dakota, South Dakota border, Standing Rock or wherever that is, that res.
Yeah. What else did I have on the scale? I had something else on mine for today. Maybe I can. Oh, I know something we could do. I do know something we could do. Kaloo my
Have to do anything with hunting
and fishing. No, let's I got you on here. I'm going to show you something, and I can do it from right here, I think, and it's perfectly legal. I won't get in trouble. Ta-da! My daughters have put out a new show just posted a new auction. And
Look at that coffee grinder.
yeah. And as far as I know, that's the real thing.
Yeah, that looks like an actual coffee grinder.
Yeah. Looks like maybe one person.
Speaking of coffee.
But I was going to, you need to go get some because I have something to show you. Well,
I ain't leaving any. I just said we were going to talk about coffee. And
well, we're going to, sooner or later, I'm going to get that show together, but I can't seem to function right now. So I thought we'd move on and look at something else for a few minutes. What really going to show you were some items of note.
Look at that green, all that green glass and chairs and whatnot. They like green.
Yeah, Kelly's got a curio cabinet full of that green uranium glass.
Is that all the same, like one deal?
This is all one. These are all different lots in one auction.
One estate or
one estate.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody's interested, by all means, make a bid. Check them out. The girls would appreciate it. Hell, I might even appreciate it if they were to make enough money not to have to move back in mom and dad or something like that. Well, that cross street, that sampler. Well, what do they call those samplers? I never did. Brenda, can you tell me why they call these samplers? I never did understand that. Anyway, they've got one of these for sale. This might be an old one.
That's cool looking.
And to a child, dear Lord, for a humble, meek, and lowly heart, cleanse me of thy precious.
You can't read that like under your breath. You got to.
Well, I barely could read it, so
we can't read it at all. So.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to try to make it big enough. For now, I was going to actually. I always wondered why they just call those samplers. So I never understood that. No thanks. I'm already subscribed. Jiminy Christmas. But what they've got, I'll just look here. She has this down as dental gold. I'm pretty sure that's 3 gold teeth.
Seriously.
Well, look.
I see them, dude. Who did take them out of?
Well, I don't know, but look, I mean, that's what that is.
I know what that is.
I was going to ask her about it. And look here, they're up to $55. I'm sure it's the gold value, but
was that was the dude that had that like a Marine from the Pacific?
I don't know.
Well, that's the bothersome part about it.
Yeah, I know.
Because he would have used a K-bar knife to get those out, and that's
a little bothersome. So anyway, there's a couple of things down here that I'm really interested in. You can imagine what they might be. I actually like these lamps. I'm seriously thinking about getting these lamps, rewiring them and using them in the bedroom or something. I like
both of them need legs on the bottom of them.
I got a couple of those. This is the craziest thing I've said in a long time, and I've said some crazy stuff. We had something like this in our house when I was growing up.
Oh my God, so did we. It looked just like that one.
If I knew that would work, I would love to have that.
Even if it didn't work, it'd be cool.
Well, that's true, but I'd like to play records on it again. I've got records.
Oh my God. We had that exact same.
Brought back memories to me, huh?
Everything was furniture in those days. Our TV and that deal. We had one of those, and we had a television that weighed like 5 billion pounds.
Oh my God, those things were heavy.
And it was a big old piece of furniture with a 12-inch TV screen in it.
Yeah, a big screen and
You turn the knob, click, click, click.
clunk, clunk, clunk.
You got ABC, CBS, and NBC maybe. And if you switched over to the UHF, you could maybe get PBS.
Okay, here we go. We'll start right here.
If we were up there, if Mark was up on the hill turning the aerial up in the woods, you might be able to. Hey, just stand there and hold it.
Wait a minute.
People don't understand that. I'd walk away from the antenna and Dad'd be like, no, go back and get a hold of it again. Back when electronics were fine furniture.
Oh, the name of the website. Let me get that for you, Tina. Well, it's Auctions and Appraisals LLC, Primrose. Well, I guess Primrose first, then Auctions and Appraisals LLC. And the web page is primroseauctions.highbid.com. Highbid's a lot of people use that. It's the software and everything, how things get laid out for show and tell on these sites. And I didn't mean to do that. That snuck up on me. That came over here, and that was not what I expected it to do. Share my screen again. So anyway, here's what I was trying to get at. I don't know if I can make that any. Yeah, I can't really do anymore. Okay. This is the first Whipple edition. This is the place, Utah. That's part of the Grand Canyon, Arizona there. But anyway, these are some, I don't know much about this book. I'd like to know a little bit more about this book. Kind of afraid to learn too much about that one. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't. And then we got one here called it's a first edition, Jack London, Children of the Frost. Think Call of the Wild and White Fang. That's Jack London, buddy.
Nice.
So
very nice.
I'm bidding on that one. And then here's another one. There's a Steinbeck Grapes of Wrath, first edition.
Wow.
At least that said it for I'm not verified the editions, but that's what she's got down. Grapes of Wrath, 1939.
Launched a whole career for Henry Fonda.
Yeah, it sure did. So, and then we get down here to another good one. That's Face of a Nation, 1910, first edition, Burning Daylight. There's another Jack London book, excuse me. Burning Daylight. I don't know this book, so I want it. I'd like to have,
Is that a Western?
No, I'm going to, well, I don't know. It might be considered that. But it's about the gold rush days and the Yukon, and I think that's where Jack London spent most of his time, was in the Yukon and in the
up in Alaska,
Northwest, and then and then Yukon. Yeah, right. What you just said.
Yeah, that state.
There's a Diamond Atlas book. This could be kind of cool. This book's in the worst shape of any they've got, but it would be cool to have because it's got some cool little maps in it.
Oh, cool. Look at that.
I know, and that's why I want. I mean, that's what makes me want it. And then you got
Look
individual,
at that.
and some of those ain't. They're not the newest. You can tell they're not the newest, latest, and greatest technology. And then I saw this belt buckle, and I swear to you, I think I have this belt buckle in my drawer, in somewhere in a
I
box.
think I can remember you wearing that.
That was
Actually,
out 1976 for the bicentennial.
yeah.
And I got one of those from somewhere. That says Smith and Wesson there. Pretty sure that's the Smith and Wesson logo anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think mine was a Smith and Wesson, but it had that same thing on the front of it. I know I got to look for it because I know I've got one of them. Some wooden nickels. I thought I ought to buy those because I say that every once in a while. If you had a wooden nickel, well, there you are. Right there's 4 wooden nickels. There's some turquoise. This one had, and I'm trying to find them as I go, but this one had.
Okay, you got it. You got
books.
You got to add. I'm riddling you this, Batman. What's a real estate license?
What's what?
Well, your wife said both my girls will be getting their real estate license. Is that real estate or real estate? What does that mean?
Well, real estate's what it should be, not real estate. Real estate. That's one word.
Oh, real estate. That makes more sense.
Hey, Michelle. Well, I'm glad you made it. Is Kelly in here too? Not my Kelly, but the other Kelly?
She's in. She was.
I thought so. I mean, I thought I saw it, and then I didn't get to say hi, so I don't know if I missed her. So anyway, I'm sorry. I'm missing everybody. I apologize. There's Kelly in the Parks. Oh, she's talking about the stereo. She remembers the hi-fi stereo being delivered in Indiana when she was about 4. Oh, they were a big deal. And the thing is, you had to get them delivered because you couldn't, it wasn't like you could just pick them up and carry them into the house. They were, that big old wooden cabinet and all the speakers and everything that went with it. And that's if it was, a radio and a turntable. If it had a TV in it too, then it took about 3 people to pick it up. So anyway, there's another book here, Mark. Oh, I've had a few Anchor Steam beers out of San Francisco. Now that little roll top desk, Brenda, I hadn't even looked at that. Have you looked at that? I kind of like that. It's not real big.
It's gorgeous.
It is. I'm looking, but the books are what I'm looking for. There's a couple more books I wanted you to see. Some went this way. A 1945 first edition. I don't know if I know this book. By Seymour. I must have blown. I do remember looking at this, but not long. A 40-year pilgrimage amongst artists, bookmen, and printers by Ralph Fletcher Seymour. And I might have to pass on that one. But I know there's a couple more. Here's
Yeah, just because the book's old doesn't mean it's a good book. I said just because they're old don't make them good books.
no, some of them are just holding space. Oh, happy birthday, Hannah! Is this Hannah's birthday today? Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Today is Hannah's 17th birthday. My word, it doesn't seem possible. So my guess is that it means she's still in bed. Kelly in the park, my mom called our living room the parlor, and we were only allowed to sit in there in Christmas time. Kelly, I remember things like that. A lot of houses we had a living room, and for many years I don't remember ever sitting in there unless we had company. But then, years as I got older, my parents got older, it just became a living room. So anyway, here's another book about. This is an Audubon book. I'd like to find out more about it. So I'm interested. I'm looking at it too. But it's John James Audubon. I'm not going to say this right. Delineations of American scenery and character. I want to say declinations, and that's not what it is. Delineations. Anyway, it's Audubon, so I'm interested in it. If it had some information about how to draw birds and animals, I'd be really interested in it. So anyway, there's one book. There's another Audubon book, Mark, I'd never seen before.
That's cool.
I don't think that's anything I want. These two I'm not sure about. Our Native Trees by Harriet Keeler and Our Northern Shrubs. Well, actually, I am interested in both of those. I kind of like to have those references. What was out there growing in the forest at that time versus now. Okay. There's a whole bunch more books somewhere that I'm really interested in. There's another John James Audubon bird book. It's supposed to be a first edition too.
That's a first edition.
Well, it's a print. This particular one was printed in 1937. So I suspect there was something out long before that. I'm not sure exactly when his lifespan was, but
it was way before that. But that's pretty cool, even if it is that late. He was long dead before that.
Died in 1851. So they were probably still printing some of his stuff even after that.
Just wonder how they call it a first edition.
Well, I don't know. And I was going to talk to the girls about that.
And maybe it was a. Huh.
This very well could be the first edition of these prints put together in this fashion.
Right.
And, probably by his family at some point. Or this is when they became public domain and people like Macmillan saw an advantage to printing them real quick. Says this is the first edition of this released by Macmillan.
Got it.
Originally published as a series. Originally published as a series of 425 loose hand-colored watercolor prints, roughly 26 by 30. Yeah, they were big. I remember that. Some of these guys like Audubon.
The originals were great big.
Yeah, that's what they're. So this is the first edition when somebody shrunk those down. I guess, into a book they could sell.
Got it.
So it probably is a first edition. Here's a book about Wild Bill Hickok, if you've ever heard of him. Do you know Frank Wilczek's? This is 1926. I don't know if he'd been dead all that long. I mean, he did manage to live to be a fairly ripe old age before he got shot in the back, or not shot in the back, but there's an edition of Tales of the Argonauts. I'd be interested in that one. I haven't noticed because I can't see the chat. Is my wife commenting? Because if she is, it's probably not in my favor. There I am. Well, I didn't realize I had that left up. So anyway, I want to show these to Mark because every time they have a big book auction, I want to get in on it and then miss it. I'm wondering if he'd ever heard of this guy. Hey, Mark, have you ever heard of this guy by any chance?
Who? I can't read it.
Struthers Burt. Just wondering, he's written some stuff for The Diary of a Dude Wrangler.
Cool.
I'm not sure what I would have considered a dude wrangler back then, but.
Well, you would be a person that worked
While the dudes count
horses for the dudes.
Yeah, that's what
you'd be in charge of the horses and
taking care of them for the
When all the touristas came in to, go on their trail rides, you'd be that person.
Well, here's some Audubon prints, plates maybe out of a book, but somebody's post. Most of these loose photos or drawings at some point in time, prints came out of a book and got put in a frame.
Right.
So that's probably what these are, and I can't tell size, but
we have several in the house that are I don't know, probably 28 by 20 that are Audubon prints that were taken from something. And I think we have 4 of them. Beautiful. Is that an Audubon?
I was looking for a whodunit on this. Antique bird and flower plates. Oh, these are taken out of the books. I don't know whose they are. I don't know. I don't think that's Audubon, though.
Doesn't look like his work, but
no, it doesn't. It looks like somebody else's, but
it's cool.
Maybe I've seen, but it's not his. But his stuff was different. I'll just let it go with that. Oh, I love this fire screen. I'm still thinking about buying this fire screen just because I've never seen one like it.
Huh.
I think that's neat.
Huh.
Probably not the absolute safest one. I mean, stuff can obviously get under it, but it sure looks cool.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to have that and set it right in there in front of empty fireplace. Oh, look at those
Dragons.
dragons. Yeah, I started to say dolphins, but then I started to say fire breathing dolphins. And then dragons. Yeah, dragons works.
That's cool.
That is cool. I like it. I don't know if it's got a, I don't see put a date on that.
Looks like a combo of Egyptian and
Yeah.
Viking.
There's some more chicken bird print plates. What does that mean? Oh, it is. It's chickens. I thought they were kidding.
Seriously? Oh my goodness.
So I'm serious. I thought maybe they were talking prairie chickens or something. But
No, that's cool. I know somebody'd love those.
Nobody's bid on them yet.
What are they?
Come here, babe.
I don't want to look anywhere to see them.
Let me pull it back up.
Hey, go back to them chicken pictures.
Well, that's why I was going. I was trying to ask you.
Go back to them chicken pictures.
I'm getting there. Getting there. Here they are.
Okay, you're gonna have to hit the individual deals because
I was. Is she looking or
Yeah.
somebody? Okay, there's the first one. I don't know if they're titled by brands of birds or whatever. There's the second one. That one says Brave. And then these guys, I like those.
Yeah, that's cool.
These are on the Stoddard's auction site.
I don't know how big they are. Nobody's bid on them. If you guys bid on them or want me to bid on them for you, I'll get them to you. To just say the word. I got to get on my daughter for spelling. She did auto corrected, I think, for her here, and that's it's spelled. She wanted to say antique bellow, but it says antique below. That's kind of a neat little bellows though for a fire. Again, wouldn't be bad to have at the fireplace.
You have one in the house?
No, a fireplace?
Yeah.
Not yeah, but it's not. They've closed it off.
Oh, it's not.
But it's still there, so I could set something in front of it for decoration like that brass screen fan.
Do you get the hand with it?
Well, I guess that depends on if you want it. If you look closely, you'll see that there's multiple tattoos. There's some flutterbys here. I don't know if they're hatching out. They actually maybe come from Chrysalis all the way to Magical Bean there.
And a big,
That would be
big old red fingernails.
Okay, girls.
You don't get the hand though.
that would be my youngest daughter.
That's a little bitty bellows.
Yeah, it is. But it'd be a good little fireside probably, or if you had a small stove or something. I thought that was an interesting one. I didn't look.
Keeps you from having to blow on the fire.
Man, I just screwed up. How did I do that? Here's from it. I thought, I've got a tool back here that would have been. I can't look at without thinking of Randy.
No air's coming out. It's so cold, no air comes out.
I can't do that because I'll cough.
Oh my. Okay.
That was one of the funnier things of my earlier life. Still is actually. I woke up and I couldn't figure out what in the heck was going on.
What's that noise?
Oh, and there Randy was trying to blow on the fire.
Poor kid. He was so cold.
And he was, I don't know if he was sucking in or
We were
wasn't
we
blowing
were
out.
we were sleeping under buffalo robes and warm.
he wasn't.
He was freezing to death. Oh my goodness.
I tell you, how they're gonna fix part of my arm. They're just gonna go in there and snip it. To which I said, "Wait a minute, does that mean you're gonna cut? I'm not gonna have any strength left in that arm?" He said, "Oh no, it just won't hurt anymore." I said, "Well, I can do that."
You can do that part.
Yeah. So anyway,
What does that say? Our Southwest.
Our Southwest, and this one's Rio Grande, and there's the our Southwest one.
Who are those by?
Well, this says Erna Ferguson. And it said down here, it says photographs by Ruth Frank and others. So I think I've heard of Ruth Frank. I think I remember that name as a photographer, early wildlife outdoor type photographer. So I'd probably be interested in these too. Just, I might not break my back to get them, but I'd.
Oh, Alfred published them.
Yep. Montezuma's Castle in Arizona. Have you ever been to that? Have you seen these?
Where?
Well, this is Montezuma's Castle in Arizona. I don't know if that's south or I don't think that's on Navajo or Hopi land. I'm not sure about that though. It could be. But anyway, I didn't know if you'd ever managed to see that or not in person.
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
The Prairie Man. There's some cool old marbles I've never seen before. I'm not that interested, but if anybody was, there's a 1946 first edition Tolstoy. Stories and Legends book. Don't know about, I can't verify the first edition either. Whittier Snowbound. Snowbound. I've never read that one. It's got poetry, songs, and other such things. I know I'm boring you guys to death today. This is real freestyle. But I thought there was another book here I wanted to. Oh, there is. I just found it. There's two books here that I couldn't believe. Look here, Mark.
What are you looking at?
I'm fixing to show you something. Look here what I found. We were just talking about this.
Oh, Mike left. I was going to show him that I was eating bacon.
Oh, is he gone?
There's breakfast.
Uncle Remus.
Hey, David Disney Dreams. I'm okay. How are you doing, sir? Yeah, check this out. I'm probably going to bid on this. I have an Uncle Remus this book, a new version of it, but I'd love to have an old one. I don't know how old that one is.
It's cool.
It's older than mine, and it's cool looking. There's a tar baby right there on the back cover.
Right there on the back cover.
Or the front, rather. So yeah,
That's cool.
there's a really good. Oh, come on. Well, yeah, I don't know if you call
There
that.
he is right there.
That's really very clear, very well done. I'm not saying I approve of the tar baby symbol or anything, but look how clear and defined that still is on that book.
Well, the rabbit got stuck in him.
Yeah, that's right. That's how they caught the rabbit before they threw him in the briar patch.
Who's the toad there, or is it?
Well, that's Brer Fox going in the creek right there, and over here is
That's the one I was looking at. Is that a toad or a frog?
Frog. Then a frog holler out, knee deep, knee deep. Then old Brer Bullfrog, he holler back, don't you really believe him? Don't you ever believe him?
Ah.
Then the bubbles come up from Brer Terrapin.
You
No can come over.
gotta learn a whole nother language to read that book.
You do. Takes you a few minutes to get it. Once you do, though, it kind of
Takes me longer than a few minutes.
like, well, the first time I picked it up, it was like reading a foreign language, and it was really difficult. I mean,
Yeah.
very difficult.
Gave me a headache.
I learned, yeah, me too. But then I kept going back to it till I figured it out and, got the rhythm. And once you get the rhythm of it, it starts to flow a lot faster. And then you just kind of pick it up. Maybe that's got something to do with being country boy. I don't know, but it's
Great stories, though.
but the original Uncle Remus stories, if you've never read them and you only know,
Yes, Mike, somebody said he was eating bacon. Look at that. You can see right through it.
yeah, somebody's eating. Oh man, do that again, just to make me, salivate a little more.
There you go.
Dang, that looks good.
My bride made bacon and French toast for the girls for breakfast. So they're all eating French toast slathered in syrup.
And bacon.
And I'm eating a few pieces of bacon. So
Well, see, when you have bacon with French toast and syrup, that equals everything out. The salt and the
exactly.
salt cuts that sweet.
You can kill the sweet with that.
Makes it a neutral, no loss, no gain kind of meal.
That looks like the bear fox right there. It is, and the rabbit.
Well, it's Mrs. Miss Fox.
Oh.
And so I'm guessing that's one of the little foxes there, because even though it looks like he's dressed like his daddy fox, he's not near as big as his mama. But Brer Rabbit's the same, about the size of the second fox there, looks like.
And
And
there, he's sitting on a grinding wheel,
yes, he is.
an old timey one.
Like I have right here, except I don't have the stand.
We've got one out in the barn that's still mounted up.
I got this one. Let me see if I can get it out here without hurting myself. Every once in a while I kick it.
Dave said he just sticks to the donuts.
I got this one.
Oh, it's beautiful.
This was the one thing I got out of my grandfather's barn. I told Mom I wanted when they were kind of divvying things up at the end, and I
You
said,
ain't supposed to be picking that up, buddy.
well, probably not. Nobody saw me though, but you.
Mike said we definitely have to talk about the French toast and the bacon.
Did you not know that, Mike?
You're allowed to come down here, Mike. You're allowed to come from Manitoba clear to Wyoming
And clear to Tennessee for that matter. Don't think for a minute you can't come here.
you come down here. We'll feed you all you want, buddy.
That's right. Hell, I'll even take it. I'll
I'm
take
making brisket here in a minute, so
Do what?
I'm making brisket here in a minute.
Mm.
We'll see how it goes, but
You need to get that thing out and rub it down with some
It's
spice.
already rubbed down. It's ready to go. I'm just warming it up a little before I put it in the oven.
The Mike, I need to take you knots so I can find a real donut. How about that, buddy?
Mike says we don't have enough food for him. He has a heck of an appetite.
We'll manage. You come down here and we'll show you what Southern hospitality is, even if it's in Wyoming.
We'll feed you.
Here's another addition.
You could eat muskrat pie here at my house.
You could, Mike. He just fed everybody muskrat pie a week or so ago. But here's another Joel Chandler.
There's one piece left of 2 pies.
Here's another Joel Chandler Harris book I'd never seen. And I think it's First on the Plantation,
Oh, gee.
which I'm sure probably controversial too, but I would like to see it.
Oh, gee.
He got, people got on him because he wrote these books in dialect, but that's how he heard these stories. That's how he grew up speaking. And
They had such cool drawings.
yeah,
Look at that thing. It's sewed together.
Yeah, I'd like to learn how to repair books of that nature because I've got some that need fixing. Let's see, that's one. That's Joel Chandler Harris. There's a Whittier. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. 1866, first edition Whittier Snowbound book. Might be interesting, actually. Snowbound. What would you talk about if you were snowbound? Snowbound, a winter idol, political. Well, that's more. Did I already look at that one? Or is that the same thing as that other one? Maybe there's 2 like that. Anyway, there's only a couple more of these books I wanted to see real quick while I was at it. I'm going to come back in later and see what the bids are on everything. Ooh, look at those glow-in-the-dark marbles. Some kid probably had cavities. I couldn't figure out why he kept marbles in his teeth, or his marbles in his mouth. They were irradiating his teeth out. Look here. Can you read that at all?
No,
Can you read that?
no.
That says right here across the top, Stories of the Great West by Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh, cool.
If you've ever heard of him.
I have his African Adventures.
Yeah.
Dad's got a copy of it, and I have a copy of it. The big, thick one that he did when he went to Africa.
I think I've
And
got
then I have I don't remember the title of it, though. I have one that he did about his cowboying days in North Dakota. But
I
I
answer a question.
just remember the title.
Mike, I'm sure she would, but if she doesn't, I will. So if you're interested in purchasing something, let me know. And I will get it to you, buddy.
The exchange rate's gonna really bite you, but
Yeah, well, he probably.
I mean your foreign money. Who knows how far that'll go? I think it's pretty much maybe they might have the advantage on us right now.
No, they're still behind. I think American dollar is worth about 60 Canadian, 70 Canadian maybe cents.
Yeah, so they've got the advantage.
Yeah, if they hand me a Canadian dollar, I'd hand them 70 cents back. I think that's right.
But I mean, they only sell gasoline in liters, so.
Yeah.
I told you about my buddy that went on a cruise to him and a bunch of other Wyoming people went
How is it
on a
just-
cruise. They drove up the Alcan. I think they drove all the way to Alaska on the Alcan Highway. And it was during Obama's administration.
They do it. They
And-
did it cars.
And they saw some of them rednecks sitting with Dwayne were like, well, look at the gas price up here in Canada. I guess
One more bite.
they must be getting some of that Obama stimulus money. And it's like, you're in a different country,
One piece. Oh,
DA, and that's liters, not a gallon.
That's right. That's a leader. Here's a couple.
They must be getting some of that Obama money.
Somebody else. I've heard somebody else make that comment about something.
It's just like some of our citizens,
Yeah, some of our citizens, indeed.
72 IQ,
wow.
whether they need it or not.
There's some Walt Whitman books. If anybody's interested, I don't know if I'm that interested in Walt Whitman these days or not. The fact that he was an American writer slash poet, I guess I would have some respect for him. So that's it,
He wrote some good stuff. What's the book?
huh?
What's the book?
Well, it's these two books. It's
Is it a collection of poetry or what?
one of them's The Leaves of Grass, which is a book I think by itself.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, it is.
and the other one is
Oh,
complete
this is nice. Do you guys want to go outside? There's a pretty big.
complete something. Hang on, I'll tell you.
No, you're not.
Won't you girls go out there and break that filly for me today?
Maybe they can go help you after you're off the phone.
It's time to break the filly.
Feed the horses.
It's getting time.
Oh,
Won't be
complete
long.
works. Yeah, I thought it's getting pretty close. I cannot.
Go
You know what?
Yeah.
On that line of thought, I can't believe that she's that old already.
She'll be 2 in June. So she's just a year and a half old. She's
No, but it's 2 years still. I mean,
getting close.
we've been talking about that horse and its birth and all that stuff since. I mean, it just doesn't seem possible.
Yeah,
Right after mine.
it's time for some groundwork though.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
The 24.
Yeah. Anyway, if anybody's interested in this auction site, can anybody get to post it? Because if you didn't, I will here just in a second.
You're turning the age of the day.
Let me get back to the headquarters page.
I think you need to
So I was 10 on the
put her on there, buddy.
I'm going to. I'm going to put her.
Tina
up.
was gonna do it,
Those four.
but I haven't been watching the comment stream there. Oh, you already did it. Boom, there it is.
If somebody check it, see if that works. Make sure the link works.
You're gonna probably be living bars.
But that's the girls. That's Jennifer technically, but Kelly is. I don't know exactly how their arrangement works, but they're partners to some extent.
Especially when you go home to your dad. Don't find. Okay.
Kelly actually still works for the
Flower that's hanging up there.
company that got
I do.
started, helped her get started.
Do you want it?
She still does a few jobs for them occasionally.
Well, and I've seen some stuff. Kelly's been sending out some things about her artwork too. So,
Yeah, she sold a couple pieces lately,
oh, good.
which I was tickled for her. Phil bought one from her that was a snake skeleton.
Yeah.
I don't know if I still have a copy of that or not.
I need to go get more.
There is no more.
No, I did.
I gotta find me.
You guys can
First time me working on finding this now. I'm back on track here.
Okay, go get dressed.
I gotta go put meat in the oven.
You don't need to do it?
Nope, I got it.
Yeah, that'll get rid of it there in a minute. It'll be gone.
I'm gonna step away for a minute. I gotta go put some meat in the oven.
Right ahead. Anyway, I think the girls only have one going right now. So, but if anybody from Canada or from anywhere else is interested in something and there's any question about getting it shipped, just let me know. I'm sure they can do it. I know Brenda and I've shipped stuff to Canada, but Brenda sold several aprons in Canada over the years. And right, wrong, or otherwise, it worked, and we sold them, and they went about their merry way. Oh man, guys, I'm sorry about the other show not working. I'll get my act together and get that fixed. Aggravates the hound out of me when I can't figure something like that out. I'll be honest. I think I'm still a little foggy from being sick. Last week was really a strange. This time last week, I was just out of it, flat on my back kind of situation, and I really thought I was coming down with something nasty, and it lasted about 4 days or so, 5, and then started easing up a little bit. Phil was going to come up, and I hadn't let him come up to visit because I didn't want to give him anything. Well, Mike, I started to just do another big squirrel chasing story, and that's what we turned out to be doing. So, yeah, Tina, that's exactly what I thought. It sounded like the flu, but it never fully developed into that, which could be because I've had a flu shot. But Diana G said, I got it too. Spent 2 days in bed and 3 on the couch. Yeah, I mean, and I can't really tell you what kind of a illness I had other than upper respiratory. And I mean, I didn't have upset stomach. Then again, I didn't eat anything for about 4 days. And that's a fact. Brenda we got to adding up, and I spent about 4 days in bed and didn't eat a thing. So hopefully I lost a couple more pounds. I saw Dave make a comment in here about snow being outlawed in Florida. So I'm going to guess. It says Dave. Now, that's Dave's Disney Dreams. Is that a Dave that I know already? See, I was thinking it was, and now I'm not positive. Don't be eating any of that. If it ain't done, it'll give you worms. More bacon. Look at that. Man, hold that right there. That is just the perfect position and lighting to illustrate well done bacon. Thank you, Carol. Are you taking off? I'm sure we'll start doing that here too. Just hadn't done it yet, but thanks for stopping by. Sorry about Michigan. Sorry about UT too, for that matter. Tina said hashtag.
She's probably very disgusted with Ohio State right now.
I tell you what, I'm going to be. I wasn't surprised that they beat Tennessee.
Although it was funny that they killed the Ducks as hard as they killed them.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. I thought that they would beat Tennessee. I really did, even though I was hoping they wouldn't. But because I mean, they have all the advantages for that game at home, and Tennessee's still a young team, really. But I did not think they would beat the Ducks. I thought
They
Oregon.
rolled over them like they weren't even there.
I know, and I've watched. And I don't know. I need to go back and look. I guess I don't know how many players didn't play that game, and maybe none. Maybe they were all there. I just wondered about important players for the Ducks, but I saw the Ducks play several other teams towards the end of the season, and they really did look unstoppable. I mean, they were tough. I mean, everything was clicking for them, but man, Ohio State. Now, who's Ohio State play next? They play the.
My wife could maybe tell me.
Well, I'm thinking it's Notre Dame. So I don't know who.
Notre Dame plays.
Well, they handle somebody.
I think they play.
Oh, they handle Georgia.
They kicked the dog snot out of Georgia. I think Notre Dame plays Penn State next. I think maybe not.
It could be.
Texas plays.
There's only 4 teams left now, so
Yeah.
Who won? Penn State and Notre Dame, and Texas and Ohio State.
So it's Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, and Notre Dame.
Well, I can still. Normally, I wouldn't say this out loud where people could hear it, but I can root for Texas against them.
You're gonna do a hook 'em horns kind of thing.
Hook 'em horn. Hook 'em horn. I don't normally do that, but they're the last.
All right. That's what you'll be there on the sideline. Be there on the sideline rooting for the hook 'em horns.
Hey,
And that's what the announcers. It's like, what have we become? The announcers on that last Texas game, they just call them the Horns now.
Yeah. Hi there,
Oh my God.
Hey there.
Grandchildren's.
How are you?
I'm good.
Are you about ready to go back to school, or are you guys already going back to school?
I don't want to.
That's my girl. Oh, God, there's my girl. I knew there was somebody left.
And education is overrated.
I knew there was somebody left out there that I could trust. I don't want it.
You ready to get? I don't want to.
I was going to show you this.
And 90% of the family is in education.
Uh-huh.
It's like, no, I don't want to go back to school.
I don't want to go back to school.
What is that?
Well, isn't that a mystery? This is a special. I thought.
What is that?
Well, hang on a minute. I thought Phil was going to be here today, or I don't know why, but I thought he might be. And I was going to show him this because this is. I got Brenda a special Christmas present.
That's a Zeus rod off of a Willikin wheel. I know what that is.
And this is a
Hunkin pivot.
this is a clamp and a mount, so you can put your digital telephone on your telescope. Telescope that you might have got for Christmas, and take pictures and transfer them onto digital.
Gotcha.
Compare them. So we got a telescope for Christmas.
So when you're out there looking for megalodon teeth or whatever, you're set.
Yeah. Well, I can sit on a rock while she's doing that, and maybe I can discover something.
Yeah, you can like dig them out of the sand right around you, and she can.
I also found another book. I've got these. I'm collecting bookmarks, sort of. I figure if I'm going to the library, I need to have a few.
That's what you need, is another collection.
Only because it merges with the other one. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams, David Henry.
Nice. John's got his fence fixed. Congrats, buddy.
All right, John, good deal. And we looky there. We talked right through that, and I didn't even break a sweat.
So, John, I had maybe, I don't remember what day it was now, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half. It was around Christmas. We had the first moose in the yard of the year. Well, it was 2024, so it was the last one of 2024.
Last year, yeah.
And I walked outside, and it was dark, and she took off running, and the dogs were with me, so she took off running, and she crashed through a corner of the yard fence, so I got to fix that too.
You know, and my daughter's sending me something.
That
Boy,
sounded
you laughing at me or
that
somebody
sounded
else?
like a bar scene from Star Wars to me.
It is. She just got back from New Orleans, so
They've been over
I'm not
visiting.
sure exactly what these are, but
They've been visiting family
kind of
in
finger-
Nolan.
finger, yeah. Some kind of finger puppets, I guess these are.
They weren't there during the recent festivities, were they?
They were there. Well, yes and no. They weren't downtown when the bombs happened, but they thought about it. They'd gone somewhere, but not downtown.
Right.
And they decided not to go downtown on New Year's Eve because it just gets so crowded. So they weren't in that. And
That's good.
what's Brenda saying? She loves something.
I love it.
Diana, are you leaving? And Maple Bacon, are you leaving? I see something about having a great day. Everyone stay warm. You too, Diana. Mike, give me a call or I'll give you one. You usually answer better than I do. I never hear it ring. Anyway, they've been to New Orleans. Her father-in-law is not well. The guy that does the ducks,
The duck carvings. Yeah.
he's
Beautiful duck carvings.
he's got the permanent long-term, not prognosis, not live too much longer. So unfortunately, but I think they're giving him. I think they're giving him a year or so, at least. So who knows? A lot can happen in a year. They might flip the right switch and
carry him.
One of these days somebody's going to find that Wilkin rod, and they're going to actually do something important.
Exactly. I think they're getting closer.
Just hang on tight, everybody.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's what you do with this. You mount this, squeeze your phone in it, lay it up there by the eyepiece, and take you a picture. And that way you don't have to get down, hunker down so much on the eyepiece either. You can look at it from on the screen.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to trying that. We finally got a decent night. Last night it was colder than figures in Klondike, and so we didn't get out there. We should have. I need to finish like the final focal adjustments before I try to chase stars with it. But
cool.
But I'm close. It's not it's not a super great telescope. It's a nice beginner telescope. And if it plays out and we enjoy it, we'll get something bigger, great bigger. Who knows? This has got a 10-inch mirror in it. So I mean, really and truly, that's not.
That's a pretty good telescope.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I can remember when a 10-inch mirror was supposed to be.
Well, I bought one for Caitlin years ago, and we could look at the planets and everything. You could see all the gorgeous views of Saturn, and they just line up here like a chorus line of an evening, and good. We got good light, so.
And now that you've said that reminds me of something else. I think there's a planetary alignment about to happen, which is supposed to show up well in the northern sky, or I'm not sure which part. But the other thing, it's also happening is there's some solar activity and northern lights up. So Diana, I expect you guys are either already.
Well, I was out the other night and, it was dark, 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 but we were overcast here. But my buddy just east of us, in Green River, my buddy Tom Christensen, he took some aurora photos that same night. We didn't have we couldn't see anything. It was cloudy, but it wasn't over there. And he got some good photos of the aurora borealis. So
Before I'll give a trigger warning. This looks a lot like a snake. This is the macabre art piece that Phil bought from my daughter.
ah,
I don't know if that's focused enough to see.
yeah,
Good.
it looks, yeah.
I asked her where she got that skeleton. I said, that looks pretty clean. But she bought it. So I guess she bought this one this way from somebody.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she's working on that. Some of her, I'm impressed. She's done. I think some of her stuff's kind of neat. I mean, you got to figure if it's not a snake, what is it? Well, it is a snake, Tina, but it's dead. Well, I mean,
It looks like a snake because it is a snake.
it looks like one because it is one. It's just a dead one, and there's no skin on it.
It's a skeleton.
It's a skeleton. And she's turned it into something she thinks is kind of
Cool.
people are actually starting to bring her things and say, I know you've done some really strange stuff, what do you think about this?
Great. Well, brother, I'm taking off. I gotta go do some cookery. So
I'm gonna let everybody go. Well, have fun at your feed whenever that is. Is that tonight or tomorrow?
tonight,
Yeah, you better get that thing cooking now.
I gotta get some stuff done.
Okay, Brenda and all the planets are supposed to line up January 25th.
Lining up.
January 25th.
They're always in a line.
Yeah.
I find one and I can find the next one and the next one, and
Pretty
the
sure
little ones I haven't been able. The one they demoted, I haven't been able to find yet. But
had you ever seen it? I mean, did you ever see it?
no, I've never found it. But I can find 5 of them, including the one I'm standing on.
I'd like to get a good
I
view.
see Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. Almost can find those every night, year round. And then I think I found one of the other ones one time, but I'm not sure about that. But anyway,
Well, I just downloaded
they're
it.
all on the exact same orbit, so it's pretty. If you can kind of figure that line out, it's pretty easy to figure them out. But
Well, I just downloaded this telescope's a Celestron. I don't know how good they are these days. Growing up, that was kind of a good scope. That's one reason I bought it. But I bought some new software with it. Now I can't find it. Or didn't buy it. Came with it. It's free. I can't remember the name of it. So I'm going to have to find it again, I guess. Anyway, all right, guys. Thanks the world for being here, everybody. It's been kind of a ramshackle day, but thanks for coming back. I'm glad to get back on the air. So
See everybody next week.
Yeah, talk to you before then, though. I hope.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys take care. Don't freeze.
All I'm doing is sitting here braiding stuff. So making bozels.
Is that I know you had something to make or something to make for somebody else. Is that yours? Do you have a new one for the Philly or?
No, it's for my buddy. Late Christmas present. Anyway.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. Kate, well, thank you for coming in. Tina, always. John, thanks for hanging around, buddy. Dave's Disney Dreams, welcome. Who else am I missing? It might still be here. Well, Diana, Mike, any of you guys are still here. Chuck, thanks for coming by, buddy. And I'll go back and read this chat so that I know what the gathering you guys are talking about, when or whatever. Because I'd like to do that. And for that matter, I'd like to have gotten together around here somewhere. Bye-bye, Kelly in the park. Michelle, if you're still out there, thank you. Welcome in. Good. Have a great day, everybody. See you again next week. And next week, I'll have my act together. I promise. I'll actually do a real show and not just stomp around. So, bye-bye. Love you guys. Always.